Hello people, I welcome you all to Simplify. So this is your general awareness class for IB ACIO examination 2020. As general awareness plays very important role in IB examination, general awareness is nothing but it is basically your current affairs. So in this very series, I'll be covering current affairs of previous 6 to 8 months. This is your lecture 1. So let's get started. So the first news is related to Zuko Valley forest fires. So, what is it? Recently, the massive wildfires broke in Zuko Valley on Manipur Nagaland border. It caused severe damage to the environment. So, this is all about the news. Now, let's study some more information related to forest fires. So, which of the states in India are more prone to forest fires? According to the Forest Survey of India 2020 report, the forests of Chhattisgarh, Mizoram, Manipur, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha are more vulnerable to the forest fires. Now, how are these forests detected in India? Basically, the forests in India are detected using two instruments named MODIS and VIIRS instruments installed on satellites. The information from these instruments is further passed to the Forest Survey of India. Then, the divisional forest officer in charge of the forest is then informed about the rigging fire. So, let's study in more detail what is MODIS and VIIRS instruments. Basically, the MODIS stands for Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectrometer of NASA. So, this instrument is of NASA. And VIIRS is basically Visible Infrared Imaging Radiometer Suite. The Visible Infrared Imaging Radiometer Suite provides data on clouds, ocean color, sea surface temperature, polar winds, aerosols, forest fires, snow, and ice. So, this is the basic information or the information related to forest fires. Now, so the next news is related to avian flu in Rajasthan. So, why was this issue in news? Recently, this Jhalawar town of Rajasthan has imposed a curfew in 1 kilometer radius after it was confirmed that 50 crows died of bird flu. This news is not as such important for your examination, but what is more important here is what is avian flu, which virus causes avian influenza, and is India free from influenza virus? So, let's study in more detail these questions. So, what is avian flu? Avian influenza is a disease caused by infection due to avian influenza type A virus. These viruses occur naturally in aquatic birds and has the potential to infect domestic poultry and other birds and animals. Okay, this is all about avian flu. Now, which virus causes avian influenza? So, the avian influenza is caused by influenza virus. The H5N1 was the first avian influenza virus to infect humans, and the first infection occurred in Hong Kong in 1997. Now, the next question, is India free from influenza virus? The answer is no. However, in September 2019, the World Organization of Animal Health declared India as free from influenza virus H5N1. This lasted only for few time period and another outbreak occurred. So this is all about influenza virus or avian flu. Now our next news is related to Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, that is PFRDA. Why was this issue in news? Basically, PFRDA online option to exit from NPS. Now, this was in news because the pension fund regulator recently announced that the subscribers can use online mode to exit from the NPS. What is NPS? NPS is basically National Pension System. So, you don't have to remember this, but what you have to remember here is what is PFRDA and what is National Pension System. So what is PFRDA? PFRDA is basically Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. So the PFRDA was established in the year 2003. It is basically a statutory body under Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority Act of 2013. It ensures orderly growth and development of a pension market. Now, what is National Pension System or NPS? So, it is basically a contribution pension system in India. Under the NPS system, the entire pension withdrawal amount is tax free. The system is administered and regulated by the Pension Fund Regulator and Development Authority. So, this was all about PFRDA. Now, the next news is related to AFSA. Recently, Nagaland declared disturbed area under AFSA. So, the Ministry of Home Affairs has recently declared the Nagaland as disturbed area for the next 6 months under the Armed Forces Special Powers Act of 1958. So what is important here is to remember this act, Armed Forces Special Powers Act of 1958. So let's see some more information. So what is disturbed area? A disturbed area is declared by notification under section 3 of AFSA. It is invoked in places where the use of armed forces is necessary to aid the civil power. Okay. Now, who can declare the region as disturbed area? Basically, the governor of the state or the central government can declare the whole part or a part of the state or union territory as disturbed area. And once the area is declared as disturbed area, the region will continue to remain in disturbed category for 3 months according to the Disturbed Areas Special Courts Act of 1976. The state government can only suggest if the act is required or not. Now, what are the other recent steps taken by Government of India to ensure peace in the northeast? So the steps taken by Government of India includes India-Bangladesh boundary agreement, blockade in Manipur, Bru-Riang refugee settlement. Bru is basically a tribe in Nagaland, and the Bodoland Territorial Council elections. Now next, this is very important news for your examination. So it is Sahayak NG, India's first indigenous air dropped container. Let's see it in detail. So what is Sahayak NG? It is an air droppable container. It was basically tested by Defense Ministry. So it is the first indigenously developed air droppable container. Now, what are the main features of Sahayak NG? Basically, it can carry a payload of up to 50 kilograms. It can be dropped from heavy aircraft. It is GPS enabled. It is an advanced version of Sahayak Mk1. The Sahayak NG containers are completely watertight. They are designed to withstand water entry shocks, and the rate of descent of Sahayak NG container is controlled by a parachute system. So, and it is designed by DRDO and Aventil. Aventil is basically a private company. And the test trials of Sahayak NG were conducted jointly by Indian Navy and DRDO. So this is all about Sahayak NG, the first indigenously developed air-dropped container. Now, our next news is related to Global Pravasi Rishta portal and application. So why was this portal in news? So recently, Government of India launched the Global Pravasi Rishta portal and mobile app. The application aims to connect the Indian diaspora spread across all over the world. Okay. Now, which ministry launched Global Pravasi Rishta portal and the mobile app? Ministry of External Affairs. Further, why is Global Pravasi Rishta portal and mobile application being launched? So far, there is no effective communication channel available in the ministry to connect with Indian diaspora worldwide. The Indian diaspora and the Ministry of External Affairs have been using social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp to communicate during the emergencies. So because of this reason, the Global Pravasi Rishta portal and the mobile application was launched. So remember the name of the application. So it is Global Pravasi Rishta portal. So let's move further. Now, our next news is related to India's first social impact bond. So, recently, Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation and United Nations Development Programme, that is UNDP, India, signed a memorandum of understanding to create India's first social impact bond of India. Okay, so this is all about India's first social impact bond. So, our next news is related to Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Harshvardhan, has been nominated to Gavi board. So, what is Gavi? Gavi is Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization. The term of a minister as a member of Gavi will be between 2021 and 2023. So, the minister is to represent the Southeast Area Regional Office or the West Pacific Regional Office in the Gavi board. Currently, the seat is held by Myanmar, and Dr. Harshvardhan was elected as the chair of World Health Organization. So this is one fact which I have inserted in this very news. So more information related to Gavi is that Gavi is basically a global alliance for vaccines and immunization. It works to achieve the objectives of the Immunization for All program. The alliance aims to save lives, protect the world against the threat of pandemics, and reduce poverty. It has so far helped vaccinating more than 822 million children in the poorest countries and prevented 14 million future deaths. It works in partnership with World Health Organization on COVAX. What is COVAX? COVAX is basically an alliance that aims to provide equal access to COVID-19 vaccines to all developing countries. Our next news is related to Gujarat Solar Power Policy 2021. So, on December 29, 2020, Gujarat government announced a new solar power policy of 2021. According to the policy, any developer or person or industry can set up a solar project in Gujarat. The policy mainly aims to reduce the power cost of industrial units by around 50%. Remember this fact. So, this is all about Gujarat solar power policy. Now, next news. So the next news is related to World Health Organization's COVID-19 app. So why was this issue in this news? So why was this app in news? So the World Health Organization recently launched a COVID-19 mobile application. Okay. So the application provides users with the latest updates on COVID-19. The application is called the WHO COVID-19 app. Remember this name, okay? So the mobile application is launched by World Health Organization, that is WHO, and will provide trusted information from the experts. It will provide regular updates and notification about the scientific findings of COVID-19. The users can learn about the symptoms of COVID-19 disease. The application also provides information on how users can protect themselves and their communities from the virus. The application will also provide vaccine progress from the World Health Organization and its partners. So this is all about World Health Organization's COVID-19 app. Now, the next news is the first International Day of Epidemic Preparedness was celebrated by United Nations on December 27, 2020. So, basically, this day is being celebrated to facilitate exchange of information, transmission of scientific knowledge, and exchange the best practices regionally, locally, and internationally. The day will further help to prevent COVID-19 like situations in future. It will also help to equip the world to fight against epidemic like scenarios. And this is the first time the International Day of Epidemic Preparedness is marked by United Nations. Remember the date, it is 27th December. Okay. Now, the next news is related to pneumocil. Pneumocil. Okay, pneumocil. What is pneumocil? Pneumocil is basically India's first pneumonia vaccine. So, the Serum Institute of India recently unveiled the first indigenously developed pneumococcal vaccine called pneumocil. It was launched by Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, and the pneumocil was developed through the collaboration with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the PATH organization. It has been approved by the Drugs Controller General of India DCGI. Okay, and the pneumocil is a World Health Organization pre-qualified vaccine. This means that the vaccine can be procured by both Gavi and United Nations for use in low income countries. So this is all about pneumocil. Now our next news is related to Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor. Why was this in news? So recently the Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor section. The section will open new opportunities for local industries. So what is Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor? So this is very important from your exam point of view. So the project involves the construction of 1839 kilometers of freight line which extends from Ludhiana in Punjab to Dankuni in Kolkata, and the line is completely electrified. Okay, this is about Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor. Remember the distance, it is 1839 kilometer and it extends from Ludhiana in Punjab to Dankuni in Kolkata, and it is completely electrified. So the next news. So what is 1% cash payment norms in GST? Recently, the Department of Revenue announced the GST taxpayers should compulsorily pay at least 1% of their tax in cash. This is to come into effect from January 2021. So what is 1% cash payment norm? Basically, the 1% cash payment norm is applicable to all the 45,000 taxpayers. It is being introduced to curb tax evasion by fake invoicing. It was introduced by Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, that is CBIC, and it has been made mandatory for businesses with monthly turnover of over rupees 50 lakh. So this is all about 1% cash payment norms in GST. Remember that GST taxpayers, it is announced that the GST taxpayer should compulsorily pay at least 1% of their tax in cash. So this is the very news. They should compulsorily pay 1% of their tax in cash, and it will come into effect from January 1, 2021. So our next news is related to the new species of wild sun rose. It is Portulaca lalji. So recently the scientists have discovered a new species called Portulaca lalji. It is a wild sun rose found in Eastern Ghats. It was discovered in the Prakasam district of Andhra Pradesh. Now, our next news is related to India's first driverless train. This news is important from your exam point of view. So, the first driverless train operations in India were initiated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on December 28, 2020. The train is operated on the Delhi Metro's Magenta line. The train was rolled out on the 38-kilometer long line called Magenta Line, and it is a part of 390-kilometer long network spread across the national capital and the adjoining cities such as Gurugram, Noida, Ghaziabad, Faridabad and Bahadurgarh. So our next news is also important from your exam point of view. It is 100th Kisan Rail of India. So, the 100th Kisan Rail of India was launched by Prime Minister Modi on December 28, 2020. Basically, the train will run from Sangola in Maharashtra and Shalimar in West Bengal. Remember this route, it is important. And the train carries vegetables and fruits. The first multi commodity service of Kisan Rail was launched in August 2020. And this service, or the first Kisan Rail, was launched between Devrali in Maharashtra and Danapur in Bihar. So this is all about the Kisan Rail in India, 100th Kisan Rail in India. Okay. Now the next news is related to the eSampada mobile application. So which ministry launched eSampada mobile application? Basically, the Ministry of Home Urban Affairs has recently launched a new mobile application and a portal called eSampada. So which ministry? Ministry of Urban Affairs. Okay. So what does this application provides? Basically, it is a single window for services such as allotment of more than 1 lakh government residential accommodations and office space allotment to government organizations. And the allotment of government residential accommodation is administered by Directorate of Estates. Now, and the portal was launched by Directorate of Estates that operates under Ministry of Urban Affairs. So what they will ask you in exam is, which ministry launched eSampada mobile application? So just remember the name of that ministry. Okay. So this is all about eSampada mobile application. Now, our next news is related to India's first hot air balloon safari. So why was this in news? Recently, the Forest Minister of Madhya Pradesh launched the first hot air balloon safari of India in Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve of India in Madhya Pradesh. Remember that Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve is in Madhya Pradesh. So there are several hot air balloon rides in the country. However, this is the first hot air balloon safari. Then let's see some more information related to Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. This tiger reserve is located in the eastern Satpura hill range. It is known for its evergreen sal forest. Okay. Now, our next news is related to Good Governance Day. So, when is Good Governance Day celebrated? It is celebrated on December 25th. Why is this day celebrated? So, it is celebrated to commemorate the birth anniversary of our former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, and the Good Governance Day was established in 2014. Now, our next news is related to the India's first lithium refinery. So, the India's first lithium refinery of India is to be set up in Gujarat. One of the largest power trading and renewable energy company, Manikaran Power Limited, is to invest rupees 1000 crore to set up the refinery. Further, the lithium ore for this refinery is to be imported from Australia. Now, the top lithium producing countries in the world, they are Australia, Chile, China, Argentina, Zimbabwe and Portugal. So what they will ask you in exam is basically, where is India's first lithium refinery located? Okay. Now our next news is related to Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Recently, the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana completed 1.5 crore treatments. The government of India announced that it is to rationalize the health package in Health Benefit Package 3.0. So this is not as such important from the exam point of view. What is important here is that Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So let's see some more information related to Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Basically, it is the second component in the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. It was launched in September 2018 in Ranchi. It is largest health insurance scheme in the world. It provides health cover of rupees 5 lakh per family per year. And the beneficiaries of the scheme were identified under the socio-economic caste census 2011. Earlier, This scheme was known as National Health Protection Scheme. Then this scheme covers 3 days of pre-hospitalization and 15 days of post-hospitalization expenses such as medicines and diagnostic. So this is all about Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So when was it launched? It was basically launched in September 2018. From where it was launched? It was launched from Ranchi. So what does it cover? It is the largest health insurance scheme in the world. It provides health cover of rupees 5 lakh per family per year. Then the beneficiaries of the schemes were identified under the socio-economic caste census of 2011, and its earlier name was National Health Protection Scheme. What does this scheme covers? It covers 3 days of pre-hospitalization and 15 days of post-hospitalization expenses. So this is all about Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Okay. Now our next news is related to Digibox. So what is Digibox? Basically, the Digibox is a storage platform. It is a file sharing and cloud storage platform. It was announced by Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant, and the announcement was made a few weeks after Google announced that it will not offer unlimited free photo uploads after June 1, 2021. So, this is about Digibox. Now, our next news is related to National Consumers' Right Day. So when is National Consumer Rights Day celebrated? It is celebrated on December 24 every year. Okay. So the World Consumer Rights Day is celebrated on 15th March. Don't get confused on with World Consumer Rights Day and National Consumers Rights Day. Okay. So the World Consumers Rights Day is celebrated on March 15th, and the National Consumer Rights Day is celebrated on December 24. Okay. Now, the National Consumer Day is celebrated throughout India to protect the interest of the consumers. This year, the National Consumer Rights Day is celebrated under the following theme. So, the theme for this year is the sustainable consumer. Okay, remember the theme, the sustainable consumer. Remember the date, 24 December. So, 24 December is marked as National Consumer Rights Day. And when is World Consumer Rights Day celebrated? World Consumers Rights Day is celebrated on March 15. What is the theme for National Consumer Rights Day celebrated on December 24? So the theme for this year is the sustainable consumer. Okay. Now our next news is related to Green National Highways Corridor project. Okay. So the government of India recently inked 500 million US dollar loan pact with World Bank, Government of India and World Bank to develop green national highway corridors in the country. Okay, so this is basically the joint initiative between Government of India and World Bank. Now, these corridors are to be developed in Himachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan. Okay, 4 states: Himachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan. Then the project will support the Ministry of Road and Transport and Highways to construct 783 kilometers of highways. The roads built under the project, National Green Highway Corridor project, will combine safe and green technology designs. It will use industrial byproducts, marginal and local materials, and other bioengineering solutions. Okay, this is all about Green National Highway Corridor. So, the points to remember about Green National Highway Corridor project are: it is basically the joint initiative between the Government of India and the World Bank. Okay, so it will be developed in 4 states: Himachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh. It will support Ministry of Road, Transport and Highways to construct 783 kilometers of highways, and it will combine the safe and green technology designs. So these are the only points to remember about Green National Highway Corridor project. Okay. Now our next news is related to Sehat scheme. So basically this scheme is for Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. On December 26, 2020, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched Sehat scheme for Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So what is Sehat? Sehat stands for Social Endeavour for Health and Telemedicine. Okay, this is the full form of Sehat, Social Endeavour for Health and Medicine. Now, let's understand some key features of the scheme. Basically, it will provide free cashless treatment for inhabitants of Jammu and Kashmir up to rupees 5 lakh of health cover. Okay. Beneficiaries of the scheme are to be provided with a card. Then, the Common Service Centers, that is CSCs, are to be effectively used in the implementation of the scheme. Further, it will include all the indoor patients department cases of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. It will also use the help of Arogya Mitras to cover maximum number of people. And the Jammu and Kashmir Medical Supplies Corporation is to provide the medical supplies for the hospitals under the scheme. Okay, this is all about Sehat scheme. What you have to remember here is that it is for Jammu and Kashmir. Then the full form of Sehat, it is Social Endeavor for Health and Telemedicine. Okay, this is the very basic information that you have to remember about Sehat. Now, our next news is related to Rashtriya Kisan Divas. So when it is celebrated, Rashtriya Kisan Divas or National Farmers Day is celebrated on December 23. Okay, the National Farmers Day is celebrated on December 23. So every year the Rashtriya Kisan Divas or the National Farmers Day is observed on December 23. The Kisan Divas is also called as National Farmers Day. Okay, as I said earlier. Now, in India, it is celebrated to honor the fifth Prime Minister of India, Chaudhary Charan Singh, as it is his birthday on December 23. The Government of India decided to celebrate the birthday of Chaudhary Charan Singh as the Farmers' Day since 2001. Okay, this day is celebrated since 2001. Okay, what you have to remember here is the date 23rd December. What is celebrated on 23rd December? Rashtriya Kisan Divas or the National Farmers' Day. So it is celebrated to mark the birthday of Chaudhary Charan Singh. Who was Chaudhary Charan Singh? He was our fifth Prime Minister. Okay, so from which year this day is celebrated? It is celebrated from 2001. Okay, fine. Now now let's move further. So our next news is related to RBI positive pay system. So why was this news, this issue, this RBI positive pay system in news? So the Reserve Bank of India is to introduce the positive pay system from January 1, 2021 for check transactions above rupees 50,000. This is basically done to enhance safety and eliminate the frauds. So remember the purpose. So why is this positive pay system introduced? So basically the RBI's positive pay system is introduced for the check transactions above rupees 50,000 in order to enhance the safety and eliminate the frauds. It is basically implemented from January 1, 2021. So what is positive pay system? It is a process of reconfirming key details of large value checks. The large value checks are those where the transactions are above 50,000 rupees. Okay. And it is not mandatory for the banks to implement the system. Remember this, it is not mandatory. They'll confuse you with this mandatory or not mandatory. Okay. Now, our next news is related to National Digital Health Mission. So, the Government of India recently approved the Health Data Management Policy of the National Digital Health Mission. It sets out minimum standards for the data privacy protection to be followed to ensure the compliance with applicable laws and regulations. The policy is to act as a guidance document across the national digital health ecosystem. Okay, now what are the key features of the National Digital Health Mission? First one, it is implemented by National Health Authority under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Then the aim of National Digital Health Mission. Its aim is to establish digital health system. These systems will manage infrastructure requirements and the core digital health data. Then it will create registries. It will establish standardized personal health records. Further, it will help to achieve health-related sustainable development goals and make healthcare service portable nationally. Okay, this is all about National Digital Health Mission. Now, our next news is related to Human Freedom Index of 2020. So, who publishes Human Freedom Index of 2020? So, it is basically published by Cato Institute and Fraser Institute. This Human Freedom Index uses the data from 2008 to 2018. And according to the index, there is decrease in the personal freedom since 2008 globally. Okay, and what is India's rank in this index? India is ranked 111 in the Human Freedom Index 2020. Its rank in 2019 was 94th. Okay, fine. This is all about Human Freedom Index. Who publishes Human Freedom Index? Cato Institute and Fraser Institute. Which data it uses? It uses data from 2008 and 2018. And what are its findings? Basically, there is decrease in the personal freedom since 2008 globally. And what is India's rank? So India ranks 111 in 2020. And what was India's rank in 2019? It was 94th. Okay, fine. Now our next news is related to E20 fuel. Okay, so the government of India has recently introduced the E20 fuel to promote green fuel such as ethanol. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways recently published a draft notification inviting comments from the public for adoption of E20 fuel. This is being done as Government of India is aspiring to take the ethanol economy to 2 lakh crore of rupees in next 5 years. At present, the ethanol economy of India is at 22,000 crore rupees. Okay. Now, what is E20? So E20 basically means blending of 20% of ethanol with gasoline. And currently, the permissible level of blending is 10% of ethanol in India. And in 2019, in spite of the permissible levels, India reached only 5.6% of the blending. So this is basically all about E20 fuel. So what they will ask is which ministry? Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. And what is E20? So what is E20? It is basically blending of 20% of ethanol with gasoline. And what are the permissible level? It is basically 10%. And what is permissible? So India's limit is only 5.6% of blending. Okay. Now our next news is related to Indian Institute of Heritage. So recently, Union Minister of Culture Shri Prahlad Singh Patel recently reviewed the proposal to set up Indian Institute of Heritage. It is under Ministry of Culture and it was announced as a part of the budget in 2020-2021. And the Indian Institute of Heritage is to be set up in accordance with Societies Registration Act of 1860 and the UGC guidelines for setting up higher education institutes. Now, our next news is related to Jupiter Saturn Great Astronomical Conjunction. So, why was this Jupiter Saturn Great Astronomical Conjunction in news? So, recently on December 21, 2020, the world is to witness a rare celestial event, that is the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. So how often does this occur? Basically, next time the two giants will come this close only on March 15, 2080. The last time these planets came this close was on July 16, 1623. As this conjunction occurs after 400 years, it is called as Great Conjunction. Okay? This news is not as such important from the exam point of view. So now next news, it is DREAP 2. This is important from your exam point of view. Okay. So what is DREAP? DREAP is basically Dam Rehabilitation and Improvement Project, and it is implemented with the loan assistance from the World Bank. The project was initially launched in 7 states, namely Karnataka, Jharkhand, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Uttarakhand and Tamil Nadu. It was launched in 2012. Now what is DREAP 2? So, the World Bank recently approved 250 million US dollars to improve the performance of existing dams in India and to improve their safety. So, the funds have been allocated into the DRIP 2, the second dam rehabilitation and improvement project. So, what they will ask here is what is full form of DRIP? So, it is Dam Rehabilitation Improvement Plan. Okay. Then who implemented it? It is basically implemented with the loan assistance from the World Bank. And when was it launched? It was launched in 2012. Okay. Now our next news is related to Chilahati Haldibari rail link. So India and Bangladesh are set to reopen the Chilahati Haldibari rail link after more than 5 decades to enhance the connectivity between the two countries. Basically, this rail link is between two countries, India and Bangladesh. Okay, and this is a part of commitment to revive and operationalize the six pre-1965 rail links between the two countries. So, the Chilahati Haldibari link was cut off during the 1965 India Pakistan War, and the inauguration of this link happened during the virtual summit that was recently held between the Prime Minister of India and Bangladesh. So, the route of Chilahati Haldibari rail link is from Kolkata to Siliguri. Okay, and the rail route will increase the connectivity between the West Bengal, Assam, and Bangladesh. Further, it will help to increase the bilateral trade between the two countries. Okay, this is all about Chilahati Haldibari rail link. It is between India and Bangladesh. It will join West Bengal, Assam, and Bangladesh, and the route is from Kolkata to Siliguri. Okay, fine. Now, our next news is related to G7 Summit 2021. So, the Prime Minister Modi was recently invited by the British counterpart Boris Johnson to attend the UK hosted G7 summit to be held in 2021. Okay. So, which country is hosting 2021 G7 summit? It is hosted by UK. Then, India is one of the three guest nations alongside South Korea and Australia. And the invitation is in line with the UK government's intention to work alongside like-minded democracies to address the common challenges. This year, the grouping is expected to become D10 following its expansion to include 10 democracies. So what is G7? G7 is basically the political and the economic group. It was prompted during the oil crisis of 1973. It is a group of 7 most industrialized countries of the world, namely US, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and Canada. Now, what is D10 group of countries? So, the D10 group of countries was proposed by United Kingdom, and the Britain has proposed the formation of D10 by including the G7 countries along with India, Australia, and South Korea. Okay. So, what they will ask in exam is which country is hosting G7 summit of 2021? It is UK. What is which nations are part of G7? They are US, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and Canada. So, when was G7 formed? It was basically formed to discuss political and economic concerns prompted during oil crisis of 1973. What is D10? Basically, it is a group of 10 countries, and who proposed D10? It is proposed by Britain. And what is D10? It is basically G7 countries along with India, Australia, and South Korea. So, this is all about G7 of 2021. Now, our next news is related to International Migrants Day. So, when is International Migrants Day celebrated? Basically, it is celebrated on December 18, and the theme for this year is Reimagining Human Mobility. Okay, and it is celebrated by United Nations and several other international organizations. Fine, this is all about International Migrants Day. Just remember the day and the theme. Day is December 18 and the theme is Reimagining Human Mobility. Now, the next news, it is about Project Loon. This is very important news from your exam point of view. So what is Project Loon? Basically, the Project Loon, a subsidiary of Google, recently announced that its balloons have successfully stayed in the stratosphere for almost a year. The balloons are helium-filled and covers a distance of 2.1 lakh kilometers. What is the aim of Project Loon? It is basically to provide internet connectivity to the remote parts of the world. And recently, Loon has created a new record for the longest stratospheric flight by staying in air for 312 long days. Okay, so this is all about Project Loon. Now, our next, so what you have to remember, so what is Project Loon and which company has launched Project Loon. So basically it is launched by Google. Okay. And what is it? What is the aim of Project Loon? It's to provide internet connectivity to the remote parts of the world. Okay. And which layer of the atmosphere it is launched? It is launched in stratosphere. Okay, fine. Now our next news is related to Vijay Divas. So when is Vijay Divas celebrated? It is basically celebrated on December 16. Okay. So every year Vijay Divas is celebrated on December 16. Day is mark This day is celebrated to mark the victory of Bangladesh over Pakistan, and it is marked in India and Bangladesh. So, on December 16, 1971, the chief of Pakistani forces, Abdullah Khan Niazi, surrendered along with 93,000 troops to the allied forces of Mukti Bahini and the Indian Army. So, the Vijay Divas is observed in Bangladesh as Vijay Divas, and the 1971 war resulted in the liberation of East Pakistan. So this is not as such important from the exam point of view. What is important here is Vijay Divas. In which countries it is celebrated? It is basically celebrated in India and Pakistan. It is celebrated on 16 December. Okay, fine. This is all about Vijay Divas. Now, our next news is related to e-Sanjeevani telemedicine. So what is e-Sanjeevani telemedicine? So, recently, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare recently announced the e-Sanjeevani telemedicine, and it is the first of its kind in delivering health services online. It uses two streams in 28 states and union territories. Basically, it is the Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Center enables doctor to doctor teleconsultation, and it is currently being used in more than 6,000 health and wellness centers. So, the Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers were launched to deliver expanded range of primary healthcare services to the communities. So, what they'll ask here is which ministry has launched e-Sanjeevani telemedicine? Basically, it is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So, and what is the purpose of e-Sanjeevani telemedicine? It is basically to deliver health services online. So this is the e-Sanjeevani telemedicine. Now, our next news and the last news of this lecture is about Human Development Report 2020. So, United Nations Development Programme, that is UNDP, released the Human Development Report. According to the report, India slipped to 131st rank among 189 countries in the Human Development Index. So the Human Development Index of India was 0.640. In 2019, India ranked 129. Okay, what is India's rank in 2020? It is 131. What was India's rank in 2019? It was 129. Okay, fine. Now, this year's index has incorporated a new parameter, namely CO2 emission and materials footprint, and introduced the planetary pressures adjusted on Human Development Index. So from the exam point of view, you have to remember the rank of India. So basically, India ranked 131 into 2020, and India's rank in 2019 was 129. Okay. So, and the new parameter that Human Development Index has inserted, that is CO2 emission and material footprint, and introduced a planetary pressures adjusted on Human Development Index, that is PHDI. So this is all about you have to remember. So this is all what you have to remember about Human Development Report of 2020. So guys, this was all about part 1 of current affairs series. I hope you find this video helpful. Thank you.